Internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Gather round. This is the Ticket Water Cooler, brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln.
You need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here. Yeah.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
On air and online at theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bakoven and Nathan Brennan.
Happy Monday to everybody out there. This is the Ticket Water Cooler here on 93.7 The Ticket. And if you listen to the happy hour, well, you've got the same people right along here for the Ticket Water Cooler. It'll be that way all week as Nick and Rico, excuse me, not Nick, Nate and Rico are taking much-deserved vacation. That means Nick is in studio with me. It also means that we're quite busy folks. I mean, I stayed here and manned the fort this morning. Nick had to run off and go to practice, get some practice sound bites, and therefore has not eaten yet. So he's going ahead and getting a few bites in before we get going here, which is much deserved lunch. I don't know how much of a lunch it is.
Sorry,
it's like 3 hash
Buck.
browns.
Yeah, I got there were some hash browns from McDonald's in the fridge. So
that sounds appetizing.
We warmed them up and they taste pretty good. So yeah,
microwaved hash browns from yesterday. Wait,
are they from yesterday?
I would think so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if anybody had them this morning.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they are from this morning.
I think it's probably from this morning because we weren't here yesterday.
Oh yeah, what they had
I guess they did have Sunday morning pancakes.
Yeah.
Well, so
I've
yesterday or today.
I'll go ahead and tell you, those are yesterday's.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I warmed them up, and I think the key though, Bach, when you warm things up, you got to flip them over.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay, so I flipped it over halfway through, microwaved them for 30 seconds. Flipped them, cooked them for another 30 seconds, and they're pretty tasty. I mean, they're kind of greasy, but what do you expect?
Yeah, that's what you get there. But you do know too, like usually, I don't know. I think especially for hash browns, I like the crispiness.
Well, I mean,
you're not going to get much crispiness
you're
of a microwave.
Getting it. I mean, you're kind of getting it at the edge there.
The crispiness might be from the aging of it instead
Come
of
on, no,
the
don't say
cooking
that.
of it.
It's fine. I just, I didn't get lunch, and this is my lunch now.
Well,
so
there you go.
Because now we're in this. I mean, after the show, it's gonna be 4:00, and it's like, do I want to eat now, or would I rather just wait and eat dinner at 6?
Yeah.
So,
and then you don't want to eat too close to bedtime.
That part, and then there's also a part of me that's like, I don't want to be that guy that eats at like 4 and then is willing to eat again at 6. Like, that just makes me feel really gross about myself. So,
well, if you're just doing the intermittent fasting thing, if you're just eating maybe a few hours of the day, that could be healthy for you as long as it's not too close to bedtime.
I just gotta, So it's better than starving myself, but yes, we're having hash browns, 3 hash browns.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good lunch
and
for anybody.
I've eaten 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 of them.
It's also very odd because you're eating like portions of them. It's not like 2.5 and there's just half one sitting there. There's like parts of 3 hash browns.
You had to rip it in half. I ripped it in half to warm it up, and we also didn't have any forks, unfortunately. So I'm eating with a spoon.
Yes,
because I didn't want to get my hands all greasy.
Yeah, you don't want to touch those things,
especially since I found out that they're from yesterday. Why'd you let me warm them up? I'm going to keep eating them.
I told you there was food in the fridge. I thought you were going to grab one of the prepared meals. Those are good for a few days. You went with the hash browns.
Well, they were sitting on top, and I was like, I'll just grab whatever's
They're the quickest
on top.
thing probably to warm up.
Yeah. So I didn't want to be in here eating a chicken parmesan during our show. I figured I could sit here and cut up some hash browns while we're talking, just like I am right now. People that aren't on stream have no clue that I am eating hash browns right now.
That's right. You can't even tell. It's in providing content for us. I like I like this content here. I was thinking about something with a diet. I lost it.
You're on a diet? You are on a diet?
No, I was just thinking because I've tried the intermittent fasting thing. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Have you ever tried, I think it's fairly healthy if you just fast one day out of the week. Have you ever tried that?
Like not eat?
Yeah.
I'm out.
Drink water and such.
I could never. One
day?
Yeah, I don't think I could.
You almost made it today.
I did, and there's probably been days that I've come even closer. But I don't think I can do it. I don't like. There's such an empty feeling when I don't eat.
Yeah.
And when you just have water, so I can't do it.
And then I don't know if you just because I haven't tried it quite yet because I think it would like affect my energy levels for the next day. So like, or that day as well. So which day do you do it? You know, you can't have anything going on the next day. I don't think.
Wet Blanket, I'm going to call you out. He says, I got off work early and was going to drop off some Chick-fil-A at the station for you guys, but I don't want Nick to eat at 4 and 6. Well, Wet Blanket, if you hurry up, you'll get here before 4 p.m. and that theory is not relevant. So we'll be okay.
Yeah, you can still
leave. Come on over, Wet Blanket.
Chick-fil-A is always welcome from anybody, I think.
I got to warm that back up.
Oh, one of them got too bad.
Got a little cold.
All right. Well, I think there was some interesting news from the college football landscape, as always, with NIL. Of course, we're going to get more to on the field stuff, and I can't wait for that here in under a month. But the NIL world is still very interesting, and things still moving around. Teams still kind of figuring out what to do with it. New NIL collectives coming up, and that's exactly what happened at SMU. Of course, SMU, Pony Express, located in Dallas, Eric Dickerson and all those guys in the past had the death penalty imposed on it in the 80s and has never really since recovered quite to be the brand that they used to be. Although I did cheer for them a few years ago. I'm kind of like SMU just because they remind me of college football before I was around, but still, I just think I think it's something I missed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I missed SMU football, so I always cheer for them. In any case, they've got a new NIL collective called the Boulevard Collective, and they're looking to get about $3.5 million per year, and so that they can give their football and basketball players basically a salary of $36,000 per year, and about $3,000 per month that breaks down. So obviously that, that works for a college student. That's well above what a college student usually gets. So the college kids will obviously be happy, but I feel like that's the way to go, right? I feel like at least initially we all talk about how it's imbalanced and all these different NIL deals that people are getting. If I'm SMU right now, you see all this conference realignment, you're kind of on the outside looking in to jump up and try to build a system to me that makes a lot of sense. You're not, overly recruiting one guy to the next. It's not any pay for play. It's like, hey, you're going to get the same deal any of our other 25 scholarships get at this time through this collective. And then from there, obviously you can do whatever you can with your name from there. But I feel like that's the model that makes the most sense to me if we're trying to put guardrails on the NIL and try to figure it all out. I think that's the future of NIL to a degree.
When you talk about conference realignment in the NIL part, when you're SMU, I mean, what's the most likely conference that they could join? Probably the Big 12?
Yeah, you would think so, but they got skipped over in the
that's true
in the picks.
So it's super fascinating. This whole I know we want to talk NIL, but the conference realignment part is super fascinating to me because it's like the race for who the third conference is going to be. Who's going to be behind a tier, a leg down from, or a step down from the Big 10 and SEC, who's going to be the next conference in line, right? Because like the ACC might be, but also the Big 12. I think it's the Big 12. Like, I think there's extreme value in adding a UFC or UCF and value in adding BYU as well. And if you're SMU, how do you not get, how do you help yourself, Bach? I guess this is a question for you. How do they help themselves not get skipped over? Is this is this helping them not get skipped over?
I would think like a dedicated commitment from collectives would help. It's just it's hard from their position. I think that this is a good move, but maybe part of it too is still that stain from the death penalty. Maybe there was some type of feel about adding SMU. I think their best chance has already passed them. I think it was the Big 12. They obviously went a different direction with Cincinnati and BYU and UCF. And who's the other one there?
Houston,
yeah, Houston, which would be the the other one there, because SMU's in Dallas, so that would you kind of get in your big market in Texas. But they still are in Texas, they're still in Dallas. Maybe they can rise again, and through something like this, it if you show that the money's there, because that's what this whole thing is about, right? As far as flipping conferences and getting money involved, it's all followed by bags, and that's what SMU is at least proposing here. It's interesting, if you can raise that kind of money, because I'm fascinated too, as we do get into the conference realignment talk, is what does happen to those conferences if they are kind of frozen out of the college football playoff discussion. Do you still have this type of money interested in helping boost SMU football from what would be seen then as, I guess, a step above the FCS, but a step below the major conferences that is getting all the money in college football? I don't know if your donors there, even though the alumni, whatever, might be more interested in helping Houston or somebody that's.
I think it's going to turn into, when you said a step above the FCS, but a step below everybody else, right?
Yeah,
I think you're going to start to see it phase into all FCS.
I think so,
because if you think about recruiting, what's going to be a team that's in that middle tier there? What's going to be their recruiting pitch to a guy, right? It's going to be, listen, you can come here and you'll be a step above the FCS, but you're not going to be competing for a national championship like you would be in the Big 10, the SEC, or the Big 12. So I think you're going to see recruiting really start to take a toll on, or the inability to recruit if you're one of those middle tier schools, really going to start taking a toll on the coaches, because they're not going to, what's their pitch going to be? It's normal. Think about it. Pitches for recruiting is, you can come here and be the best. You can come here and take us to the next level, to win a conference title, to win a national title, to get us to a New Year's Six bowl, to the playoff. And now I guess we're talking higher level recruits when we're saying those kind of things. But you're going to see recruiting start to phase off, and then you're going to see teams like a North Dakota State really take a step up, I think, because they're going to say, hey, there's not much different between us and Oregon State. There's not much difference. We've had a much better history of winning. What have you done for me lately? A lot of national champions for the folks up in Fargo, not very many in Corvallis. So it's I think you're going to start to see that playing field even out, with a lot of the top talent going to the main three conferences that we're talking about.
Well, and who knows when that's going to happen too, because as we talk about mega conferences, super conferences, and certain conferences being left out, at this point, you're just adding Power 5 schools.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Because the Big 12 went out there and added Power 5 schools. As long as the Pac-12 now with 10 teams, they might do the same. So you might just expand your Power 5 range, and then does it break down from there, and then get into kind of the bigger conferences. And then, when that does happen, whoever is that third conference, the ACC, Big 12, whatever it may be, are they more interested in your traditional Power 5s, or they're saying, hey, here's a Power 5 school? It's just fascinating to see what happens. It's unpredictable, but I think, do you think that there is a realm, I suppose, out there where these Power 5 conferences stick around? And because it's strange. It's so imbalanced. There's 16 teams here, 12 teams here, 10 teams here, 14 teams there. It's not even, that's for sure, but it's certain, and it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be like if you had a playoff of 8 teams, you're not just going to automatically take the Pac-10's
no way.
champion. If you have to battle through the SEC and Big 10, even if you have 2 or 3 losses compared to a 1-loss Pac-10 team at that time.
I just don't see a way that they'll keep Power 5 schools around, or Power 5 conferences,
altogether,
I should say.
Structure
altogether. I just don't, for the biggest reason of the uneven numbers, right? Because you look at, now especially with USC and UCLA joining the Big 10, you look at just comparing conferences, right? And you have to assume that there's still smoke somewhere in the near future about Oregon and Washington moving, and because they don't want to be there, they're too, Oregon especially is too good of a program and an institution to be in a dying Pac-10 conference, Pac-12 conference. Notre Dame, similar way. You got to imagine that here. Here's the thing. The only key thing keeping Notre Dame back was their TV deal. That's the only thing keeping them back. So even if this thing does take 4 years until their deal is up, it's inevitable. It's going to happen because it's one of those things. It's a cutthroat business, basically, as we all know, because it's either eat or be eaten, join the group or be left in the dust. And Notre Dame, there's no way that, number one, Notre Dame's going to allow that to happen to themselves, or number two, college football as a collective unit is going to allow Notre Dame to just be left in the dust. They're too valuable to college football as a whole.
Well, and they just kind of have the different powers. When you look at like the college football playoff, for instance, you've got all the conference commissioners and the Notre Dame athletic director. But I think there's a chance that they, stay independent, sign another TV deal, because that's the frustration is with Notre Dame when they're talking about jumping into your conference. They want a bigger piece of the pie than what you're giving out to everybody else, because they understand that their brand should command that, and it does. And so they know the power position that they're in. And that's fascinating too. By the way, I'm really fascinated by that stuff too, because when you look at the Big Ten, the newbies have not gotten favorable schedules at all.
No.
Also, Nebraska, Maryland, and Rutgers didn't get a full share of the money right away. USC comes in. They're a bigger brand. They understand they bring the Los Angeles market. They demand that full share right away. But I'm fascinated by what it's going to do to the scheduling, because as we know, if you're here in Nebraska, you understand you've played Ohio State and Michigan, and you're playing all the tough games. And to a degree, that makes sense. It's your brand. That's what they brought you to the Big Ten for, is to get those games in there. But it's somewhat uneven scheduling. The same thing has happened when you look at Penn State. There's been there was a few weeks ago, there was a big dust up kind of from the Penn State crowd, because I think, since they joined the Big Ten in the early 90s, they've had 17, I don't even know how many seasons it'd be, up closer to like 30, 31 seasons, whatever it is. But they have only had like 3 home openers in the Big Ten. Home openers. They're always playing on the road.
I don't know if you saw this. They opened conference season at Purdue this year.
Yeah.
And Purdue, so as Penn State does a whiteout, Purdue's doing a blackout.
Oh, are they? Nice.
So it's like this huge conflict and trying to like rub salt in the wound that you're going to be you're not at home, and you're not going to have anything like you do at home. So it's kind of interesting. Well, here's another thing I would say. There's a chance here when those two teams do join the Big Ten Conference that the scheduling is even worse than it was with Nebraska. Because think about this. There's probably going to be no divisions. There's probably not going to be any divisions at that time. So you're not going to have to play the entirety of the Big Ten West like Nebraska did it that year. They're going to, or I guess the legends or leaders, whatever it was at the time. And so like if you sit here now, if Nebraska or if USC were to join this year, and let's say they join the Big Ten West, then their 2 hardest games would be their crossover games. But now you're sitting here, and if there's no divisions, it's the wild, wild west for who they could play. They could play everybody. They could play. They might have to play Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Iowa, and they don't have to play Purdue, Illinois, Indiana. Like, it probably won't be that extreme, but there's not going to be any rules to say you have to play these 5 or 6 other teams because they're in your specific division, because you're not going to have divisions. So there's a possibility that it even is worse than Nebraska had it, or Nebraska's had it, or Penn State has it right now. Because let's be real, you're sitting here now in Nebraska. What's our conversation? They don't have to play Ohio State. They don't have to play Ohio State and Michigan State this year. They don't have to do that this year. Those were their 2 crossovers, or excuse me, they had Michigan also. But if you swap out last year Ohio State and Michigan State and sub in 2 of the worst teams, Rutgers and Indiana, then you're feeling a lot better about last season, because there's probably a chance that you're 5-7,
or you feel worse because you're 3-9,
or you're 3-9, and you still lost
some way to worse teams. But no, I get what you're saying. I can't wait to see what the scheduling is going to look like. Of course, because too, if you think about the pod system, which has gained a lot of traction, Nebraska would likely be in the USC UCLA pod. So just because of geography, even though they're nowhere close, or as close as you get in the Big Ten. So that would be fascinating. Start a little bit of a rivalry there. I don't know what Nebraska's rivalries are going to look like in the future. It's
got to be USC.
You got to protect. Do you protect Iowa? Do you keep them in the pod?
I think you keep Iowa. I think it's USC, UCLA, and Nebraska.
Yeah.
I truly do. because as much as Nebraska fans want to say they have other rivalries with other Big Ten schools, or they don't, unfortunately. And I think it would just make more sense. You talk about geography, and not that it matters in college football nowadays, but you talk about geography, and that plays a part into it, I suppose. So you have USC, UCLA, Nebraska, and Iowa, but then you're going to have Northwestern and you're going to have Wisconsin pissed because they don't get Iowa.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's truly going to be fascinating. But I do think that some way, and that's where if you talk about, let's say the Big Ten decides to go with the 3 permanent opponents, right, system. As somebody says on the text line, Iowa isn't even a rival. Hey, listen, but it's geography wise.
It's Nebraska's. Yeah,
right. Exactly. It's as close as you can get it, or as close as Nebraska has to one. But if you go with the 3 permanent opponents, you got to think USC and UCLA are in there.
Yeah.
Like you just have to think. Because if you're Ohio State, are you going to give up the Michigan game? No way. Do you want Ohio State and Michigan State every year? Probably. Like you want those trademark, those traditional games that you're used to from Ohio State and from Michigan. And it's like Nebraska is just kind of the odd man out right now, where it's like, all right, you get USC and UCLA.
It's just sad for Nebraska because their historical rival again was ruined by Texas when they joined the Big 8 and made the Big 12 and split up Oklahoma. And there's just this, I understand why someone would say Iowa isn't a rival. You heard the same thing about Colorado back in the day. They'll never be Oklahoma. And there's nobody that ever can be Oklahoma. Oklahoma is Oklahoma. Unless Nebraska finds a way to put a set of non-con with them every year, then you're not going to replace Oklahoma. And and so thank God they have them this year. They had them last year. They got them scheduled down the line. But I don't know if that's going to happen. If you're going to have non-con games when you have 16 conference opponents, you might just play an all-conference schedule. But for what it's worth, USC at least could match you historically. So whenever you talk about Nebraska and Iowa and Colorado, that was part of the problem. Is like, well, they're not historically a great team. Geographically, we can kind of mix it up with some of their fans, and that would be another problem again once you get to Nebraska USC. Is how many USC fans do you talk to on a daily basis? Not very much.
Colin Cowherd,
and just hear from him. And then the other thing is, if they're not good, they won't care. They'll start talking to you about the Rams or the Dodgers or the Lakers, and be like, we're talking college football right now.
Well, so what's interesting here is when you talk about the all-conference schedule block, I'm curious to see how much weight wins and losses matter in the college football playoff discussion.
Yeah.
If you did play an all-conference schedule, because think about it, like you have nothing to compare yourself to as a conference, as a whole, right? Well, we talk about what conferences have the most respect right now. It's Ohio State, it's not Ohio State. It's Big Ten, SEC, and then it's which one's next? ACC probably.
Yeah.
So it's like you have nothing to measure yourself against because you're not playing the ACC. You're not having the Alabama versus Texas matchup right now like you are with an SEC Big 12 type of thing. You're not having and what allows a conference to get respect over time is in those non-conference games, the Big Ten beating the Pac-12 or the Big Ten beating the ACC year after year, and those same teams that beat the teams from the Pac-12, the top teams in the Pac-12, it helps them when they find success in the postseason as well. And so that's what allows your conference to get over the top. But if you're just playing an all-conference schedule, you're not able to match up Alabama and Ohio State in the regular season.
Yeah.
So you don't know which conference is truly better. Because you can only compare with what teams you have in that conference.
Well, I think that's why it only makes sense if they go with that model for quite a bit of an expanded playoff. 12 teams. Because again, to me, I don't get too hurt about the 13th team. When you play in a sport that used to cut it off at 2, you can't complain if you're the 14th best team or whatever, 13th best team, and you say, well, we deserve to get in the playoffs. Well, maybe you deserve to get in whatever scenario playoff this is, but you're not really in the national championship discussion. So if you get left out to me, so be it. But I guess maybe that's a mindset from
Bulls are dying.
Bulls are definitely dying.
Bulls are dying.
What do you think about instead of opening up with non-con, finishing with a non-con game, similar to what they, Georgia Tech, Florida
here's the
State.
thing, like it's okay as long as they are quality games.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's this thing there's how do I want to say this? It's not public, but we all know it's this unwritten statement or unknown statement, basically, that I'm losing the words, that the first couple games of the season, most of the time, are against easier opponents, against the FCS opponents, and it's going to allow you to get your feet underneath you. So my problem is that if you want non-conference opponents near the end of the season, then they need to be against quality opponents. Because now you're going to have, I do not want Nebraska to ever be in the position that they are in. I never want to play a Bethune-Cookman again. Like, I understand in that situation, in that stage of the season.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, I understand that year was a special circumstance with Akron getting canceled. Like, I understand that there was special circumstances, and those are going to happen, and that's understandable then, I suppose. But I never want Nebraska to be in a position where they're in week 13, they're playing Tennessee Chattanooga. Or I never want them to be playing the Citadel like Alabama does in week 12. Like, I never want them to get to that point where they are playing that kind of team, because it doesn't do anything for you. Like, the wins for Alabama, for example, a win against the Citadel does not do anything for what they need in the playoff. Like, if you're a fringe college football playoff team, in my opinion, then a win against the Citadel in week 11 is not going to do anything for you.
It almost hurts you because somebody else is making a move.
Because somebody else is going to be able to beat a Northwestern. Like, even a win against Northwestern looks better than a win against the Citadel or Tennessee Chattanooga. So I'm okay with that as long as you're getting the Nebraska Buffalo, or not Nebraska Buffalo, Nebraska Oklahoma, or Nebraska Cincinnati, like it's going to be in a couple years, or Tennessee and Tennessee and Michigan State. Like, as long as they're quality matchups, I think you can argue that it's okay.
Well, and that might replace bowls. Like, schedule a game near the end of the season. And then I don't know if they'd have the same mentality. The players might skip because it's out of conference play. I'm not sure. But if you schedule a rival there, then maybe it amps it up a little bit, because I haven't seen too many people skipping the Florida State game or Georgia Tech game, or Clemson, South Carolina. There's a few of them there. Gosh, I got to get Texas and Texas A&M back.
Auburn, Alabama.
Too.
Yeah.
Texas, well, that's a conference game.
That isn't. That's the.
I guess Texas and Texas A&M will be too. But yeah,
are you worried that as a media member to forget or just have to be reminded on who is in what conference here in a couple years?
No, because they give us enough time to kind of, like, in my mind, Texas and Oklahoma are already in the SEC.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I watch them this year, it's going to be like, and I kind of think that way too. When I'm watching the Pac-12, I'm going to be cheering for USC and UCLA. And if they win, I'm going to say, yeah, Big Ten, baby.
Big Ten, baby.
Take
Big
that,
Ten
Pac-12.
football.
Big Ten football's winning that conference, which would have been nice too if Nebraska left the Big 12 with that championship. They were so close. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Lee Corso turned 87 yesterday.
How about that?
Is it possible?
Lee Corso.
Is it possible to replace Lee Corso on College Game Day? I don't know. We'll talk about that next year on the Ticket Water Cooler, 93.7 The Ticket. Jake Bakoven here, and I want to tell you about something that I do that is helpful in the health industry. I'm talking about Solarion, where if you're eligible, you can earn up to $500 per day while helping develop new pharmaceutical products. I've worked with Solarion for many years and keep going back because I feel confident in the well-trained staff and well-researched studies that I participate in. Plus, if you have a busy schedule, they have weekend studies or overnight studies that shouldn't affect your normal work hours. I feel confident in knowing that I am helping advance potentially life-changing medical treatments in the health industry. This research could improve the life of others, and by participating, it helps me out too. If you're curious about how to earn up to $500 per day for participating in a research study at Solarion, check them out at helpresearch.com/new or call them at 866-213-2965. Once again, that's Solarion at 866-213-2965 or at HELPresearch.com. Research.com/new.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Beatrice Bakery. They ship cakes all over the country. True story. But take a look inside their shop and you'd have no idea. This is a Nebraska product through and through. Not some massive production plant. Local people making delicious cake just for you. So go see them in their new storefront location in downtown Beatrice. Grab some grandma's fruit cake, some chocolate rum cake, or my favorite, the turtle nut cake, and say hi to Rick and the crew. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Hey, batter, batter, batter. Wings, splatter, splatter, splatter. Catch all this season's baseball action at one of your neighborhood Lincoln locations. Get League of Their Own wings, burgers, nachos, and ringers while catching all the action. Stop into Wings and Rings located on O Street in Meridian Park and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village. Or place your order online at wingsandrings.com. That's wingsandrings.com. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Cloud cover this morning should give way to partly sunny skies this afternoon. Much more comfortable. We'll top out at around 84. Winds turning out of the north-northeast at around 10. Overnight mainly clear with a low down to around 60. A seasonable day on the way for our Tuesday. Tomorrow's high around 88. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking in Louisville. Right now, our pre-owned sales are off the charts, and we have loaded up the lots full of inventory. We've got a great supply of Sierras, Silverados, Tahoes, Yukons, and crossovers. Plus, we've got a great supply of back-to-school cars just in time for the big day. Don't forget about all of those new 2022 and 2023 units arriving every day as well. So please take that short, money-saving drive down 144th Street or shop online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order your Wingstop online at 28th and Superior, 50th and O Street, and 29th and Pine Lake.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay. Playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket, and we've got an update on the goings-on in Norman. Of course, if you haven't followed the story, Coach Kel Gundy has resigned, kind of surprisingly, I guess, out of nowhere, I would say, but it was supposedly for reading a shameful word in front of the team, and Coach Brent Venables actually updated this. He sent out a statement himself, so I'll go ahead and read that now. Again, this is Monday's statement from head coach Brent Venables of Oklahoma. He says, as painful as it has been dealing with Coach Gundy resigning from the program, it doesn't touch the experience of pain felt by a room full of young men I am in charge to protect, lead, and love. There are a few things I would like to address. Coach Gundy resigned from the program because he knows what he did was wrong. He chose to read aloud to his players not once, but multiple times a racially charged word that is objectable to everyone and does not reflect the attitude and values of our university or our football program. This is not acceptable, period. Coach Gundy did the right thing in resigning. He knows our goals for excellence and that coaches have special responsibilities to set an example. He also knows that while he will always be a part of the OU family, that his words affected many of us and did not represent the principles of our university. Again, his resignation was the right thing to do, and we will move forward positively. So kind of breaking up a little bit of what we were assuming, right? I mean, especially or just the beginning of the show, we were saying, well, we don't know exactly what it said, but it had to be race related. At least it seems like it. All the tea leaves pointed that direction, and Brent Venables goes ahead and says that here in the statement. And then to the fact that he said the word or words, whatever it was, multiple times. Yeah. That adds, again, a little bit more. It wasn't a slip up. It was something that, while his own statement was less, kind of led you to believe that might be the case. Venables comes in and says that's not the case. By the way,
wait a
Chick-fil-A
second.
is here.
Wait a second. Now, I don't know who dropped this off. Wet Blanket.
Wet Blanket brought some Chick-fil-A.
That is remarkable. Wet Blanket. Is he here, Mark? Buck, hold down the fort.
All right. Nick has got to go say thanks to Wet Blanket, who brought in some Chick-fil-A. I want to go double check. I know somebody said that they were going to bring in some Chick-fil-A earlier. Well, Wet Blanket stepped up. No, he did say that. So you're going to eat before 4. It's 3:41. You got to scarf that down at the end.
I need to hurry up. Wet Blanket was walking back to his car. Gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wet Blanket.
Yeah, that's awesome. Even though his name would indicate that he's kind of a downer, but
not today.
Not today.
Wet Blanket might be my favorite texter.
Oh, there. Eric, the old Nate game.
Not really.
Did you? Have you told Eric he's your favorite texter?
No. Eric just tries to make jokes.
Oh,
Eric's out of line.
Yeah.
So, Wet Blanket, appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Nick hasn't eaten yet today, except for some old. There's a lot of Chick-fil-A in there. Some old. What were those things? Potato. What do you call those? No, what you had earlier from McDonald's.
Hash browns.
Hash browns. That's right.
Yeah, not good. This will be much better than that.
Yeah, much better.
No. Ben. Okay, so hold on. Ben says, "Did Nick ever eat the corn I gave him?" Ben, if you gave somebody corn to give to me, I never received it.
You never did?
I never received it.
Wow. Were you talking about like Nebraska corn is better, or you haven't had
Nathan.
it?
Nathan, that's one of Nathan's outlandish takes.
Yeah.
Once again, freaking out. Man, yeah. Oh, you got Nate and I mixed up. Okay, no, it's all good. It's all good. I was just gonna say, if you gave somebody corn for me to eat, I have not had corn. So,
yeah, you guys seem to get. I think it's just your name starts with an N.
Yeah,
we seem to get confused.
We get mixed up a lot. Yeah, it's too bad. I'm kind of pissed off at Nathan right now because I know this is out of left field.
That's all right.
But I'm pissed off at Nathan because I texted him on Saturday. I was like, "Hey, what are you up to tonight?" And he's like, or he didn't reply to me. He did not reply to me
at all.
Ghosted you. So he had texted me earlier today and was like, "Hey, what are you up to today?" Bach, I forgot to tell you in the happy hour, I crashed a wedding over the weekend.
Oh.
It adrenaline rush, let me tell you. But
does it mean you know
I
people?
I did not know anybody there.
How'd you get there?
So okay. So we had a friend that drove up from Kansas City and she took my buddy as a +1.
Okay.
And they conned me and not conned. They persuaded me to go.
Be alcohol
they were like, "You are going to come."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay." So we went to Kearney. I really hope they're not listening.
Okay.
So we drove to Kearney for the wedding. And then I was like, you know what? This is really awkward. I didn't know a single person there.
Yeah.
My buddy, who was was the actual +1, didn't know the bride or the groom. Our friend vaguely knew the bride. And so we knew nobody there. Nobody. And I knew not a soul. And I was like, guys, I really don't want to go to the reception. Like, this is really awkward.
You went to the
I went to their wedding in the church.
Oh my goodness.
Went to the wedding.
That's a weird way to crash a wedding.
So anyway, I was like, I really don't want to go to the reception. They're like, no, it'll be fine. It's good. It's at a hotel. There's going to be a hotel bar. Like, it's all good. It's open bar. And they're going to have food. And I'm like, all right, fine. So we went. They scoped out to make sure there was no nameplates or anything like that, because obviously I didn't RSVP. And we're good. So I enjoyed a wedding. So congrats to the groom and the bride. They got married in Kearney, Nebraska over the weekend.
Yeah.
It worked out perfectly. And it was all good. So yeah. Anyway.
You were the +1 to a +1.
I was the +1 to a +1. I didn't know either. So I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that, but I think we'll be okay.
No.
So
did you I've seen wedding crashers. I know what they do. Did you
No. I sat in the back. I was not there. We left like right as dinner got stopped or was done. Like, we did not stay long.
Didn't stay and drink.
Yeah, we did not stay long. So
yeah.
But anyway, so Saturday, Nate texted me earlier today. He was like, "Hey, you want to go downtown tonight?" And I'm like, "Nah, I gotta go to a wedding." So I then, when we're coming back from Kearney, I'm like, "Hey Nate, what are you up to? Let's go downtown." Didn't reply. So my group, my buddies and I, we walked into McKinney's, and who is sitting there? Nathan.
It's Nate.
Nate and Melby, Mike Melby. Get this, Bach.
Nice.
So Nathan, Carly, Nathan's girlfriend, Mike Melby, and Melby's girlfriend were just chilling there. And I was like, "What is this?" I texted you 2 hours ago asking what you were doing tonight, and no response, which is fine. And then I just so I crashed their party as well.
You'd think that there wouldn't be a problem with you jumping in on that group, but I guess you just weren't invited.
Yeah. Mark in Holland says, "I bet you never got those Omaha steaks I dropped off either." No.
I think he's making a joke. I think he wants you to think that there was Omaha steaks dropped off for you.
I would be pissed. I'd be mad.
Well, he might have. He might have. I don't want to, maybe he's not making a joke. Maybe there were Omaha steaks, but
maybe.
We never got any of them.
Anyway, that segment, I'm sorry, Bach, went completely off the rails.
Oh, that's okay.
Thanks again to Wet Blanket.
Yeah. Shout out Wet Blanket. Let's actually get to that topic we were talking about. Can Lee Corso be replaced on College Gameday? Yeah, it's something I've always thought. No, there's no way. But maybe there is a name out there. We'll do that next here on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket.
The dog days of summer are here. Is your yard in need of a touch-up as we head into the fall season? August, September, and October are the months for aeration, and Penner Sprinkler and Lawn is the place to call to get the job done right. If you're noticing any issues with your sprinkler system through the hot summer months, they're always a call away, and they're already scheduling installs for sprinkler systems for next year and all other lawn care needs. Call Penner Sprinkler and Lawn today at 402-413-1215.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order your Wingstop online at 28th and Superior, 50th and O Street, and 29th and Pine Lake.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. We saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking in Louisville. Right now, our pre-owned sales are off the charts, and we have loaded up the lots full of inventory. We've got a great supply of Sierras, Silverados, Tahoes, Yukons, and crossovers. Plus, we've got a great supply of back-to-school cars just in time for the big day. Don't forget about all of those new 2022 and 2023 units arriving every day as well. So please take that short, money-saving drive down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Not headed to Dublin to watch the Nebraska football season opener? Don't worry, we've got you covered. You can tailgate and watch the game right here. Join 93.7 The Ticket, Ambition Electric, and Steve's Garage Doors here in our parking lot for a tailgate and watch party. Joe from Ambition Electric will be serving breakfast and lunch while our hosts get you ready for the game with the Ticket Tailgate pregame show. And best of all, it's all free. The Nebraska Northwestern Tailgate and Watch Party. August 27th, beginning at 9 a.m. right here in our parking lot at 330 North 48th Street. Brought to you by Ambition Electric and Steve's Garage Doors. Beatrice Bakery. They ship cakes all over the country. True story. But take a look inside their shop and you'd have no idea. This is a Nebraska product through and through. Not some massive production plant. Local people making delicious cake just for you. So go see them in their new storefront location in downtown Beatrice. Grab some grandma's fruit cake, some chocolate rum cake, or my favorite, the turtle nut cake. And say hi to Rick and the crew. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
My computer was a dinosaur, and our TV, well, let's just say it was definitely time for an upgrade. But finding a way wasn't so simple. And then I found it, a research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. I earned cash for the study and was able to make those much-needed upgrades. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
Imagine your next staff meeting. Now imagine your next staff meeting with a side of ribs. Your next client presentation? Or that same client presentation with brisket and baked beans. It's better, right? Let Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul take care of all of your business catering needs. Feed the staff, cater your next event, whatever you need, Mary Ellen's can help. They can even host your events in their brand new event space located right next to the restaurant. Go see for yourself. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake or online at maryellens.com. Let them fix you a plate.
From selling a home to even building one, you're doing a lot and need a lender who can help you do it. Like Kelsey Fluhop of Security First Bank.
As a mortgage loan officer, I value my customers and work to make the mortgage process easy and even rewarding.
Mortgage lending from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 505011 and 1730635.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Cloud cover this morning should give way to partly sunny skies this afternoon. Much more comfortable. We'll top out at around 84. Winds turning out of the north-northeast at around 10. Overnight mainly clear with a low down to around 60. A seasonable day on the way for our Tuesday. Tomorrow's high around 88. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey! There it is. This is the Ticket Water Cooler. We have the backup singers on the mic, Nick and Strick. That's right. Strick is in for our crossover here before we get on the block going.
AI crossover?
Yeah. You're probably the most... you probably the best resume for a crossover here at the Ticket, that's for sure.
Come on.
I had the medium cross between the Tim Hardaway and I couldn't do the Allen Iverson.
Come on, you haven't seen me hoop. You haven't seen me hoop.
You can't crossover.
Gosh, Nick.
What's
Nick's
up,
jumper's
Stricky?
probably so broke.
I shoot two-handed. Is that okay?
Reggie Miller style. Straight. Reggie Miller had one of the ugliest, purest shots on earth, but it went in.
I have been I have been told that I look like Reggie Miller.
He would put it in his. Oh God. Do I need to leave the water cooler?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Stick around.
That is definitely blasphemous. There's no time has he ever been compared to Reggie.
You don't
Miller.
know this, Bach. You don't know. You don't know my life. It's sad that you guys would think it's so surprising.
Yeah. You just have never touted your basketball skills. You're more of a baseball
I'm a
guy.
quiet, confident kind of guy when it comes to basketball.
Quiet confidence.
Quiet confidence. That's how I operate.
You know the picture that just came into my mind right now. If you haven't seen White Man Can't Jump, then you would understand. Go out and pick that up today and watch it, because then this is the picture I'm painting. There's a scene in White Man Can't Jump where he was a hustler, Woody Harrelson. He was a little hustler. He comes out in the goofy outfit, the shoes that are dang halfway untied, hat to the back. He looks like he's going to be the last person chose. And he's stretching and he's doing all these things, and he can really hoop. That's the picture I get when I look at Nick.
Yeah.
White
I can
man
really
can't
hoop.
Jump, Woody Harrelson, but his game is garbage.
Yeah, I cannot hoop. I cannot hoop.
You shouldn't pick him at all. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be the one that get picked, and then all of a sudden you're like, why?
Wait, why did I pick him? Yeah, you're gonna see me throw up a brick.
Wasn't that called like grifting? You grift people by like showing like looking like you're nothing, and then actual playing
do it in pool all the time.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest one.
They be shooting and listen, golfers do it too. Don't let golfers.
Golfers
absolutely.
Slick. They'll shank some, and then all of a sudden, hey, well, you want to bet a few holes?
I gotta play in a little 4-man scramble thing tomorrow at 7 a.m. So we're gonna see how that goes. We gotta play at Holmes.
Listen, you got take a pair of cards.
Okay.
Cards.
Yeah.
A deck.
Oh yeah.
Play the game that I played when I went out to do the event out in Fall City.
Okay.
It's poker, but if you're playing a scramble, if it's you use your shot on the drive, second, if you knock it in close, and if whoever makes the putt gets 2, if you make the birdie.
Okay.
If you don't, obviously you just get the card for whoever got closest, right? And you build your hand throughout the 18.
Really?
So once you get to 5 cards, every time you hit one and you're the guy, you have to turn one in and you get another pick.
Interesting.
And by the end of 18,
you gotta
whoever
have
has
your
the
best
best
hand.
poker hand
That's
wins
wild.
the money.
No, I just found out about it. I got asked to play. I don't know. It's something that where they're playing it. I don't know if it's a league or whatever, but it's a group. It's a 4 of us that we're playing at 7 a.m. at Holmes tomorrow. And it's like you send in your score as a team. So it's like you play on your own time whenever it's convenient for you.
Really?
So I don't even know what it's about. I got asked to play this.
Corruption on that one.
Exactly.
How many mulligans you
that
use?
was exactly my thoughts.
It's already hard enough to trust somebody with their golf score.
Exactly. That was exactly my thought. So I'm like, all right, like I'll go. You don't have to pay, or like I'm not being charged for it. So I was like, I'll go, whatever. I'll spend the morning golfing or whatever. But I'm like, man, we're gonna have somebody that shows up with a 24 under, and I'm like, all right, come on.
There's been times I'm telling you where we legit went low, and we're like, this is solid.
Yeah.
And then the team kind of moseys in, and they're real dumpy.
They're trying not to make a big deal out of it because they're like, we don't want people to know.
Prizes and stuff, but they're so dumpy. Like you're like, bro, you can barely hit off the tee. Stop it.
Well, so what happened? Actually, we played in a tournament. It would have been last summer in Beatrice, and we finished 17 under. And we were like, all right, the tournament that we played in, it was for a select softball team's like golf tournament, golf scramble, whatever. We're like, all right, we know the talent that's around us. They're not. We felt really good about 17 under. We ended up getting third because a team scored 21 under and another team went 19. And we're sitting out there like, we were so lucky that we got a 17 under.
Right.
And we're like, did you really birdie that? Did you really do that?
Right.
Because there were like 4 par 5s. And you're telling me that you were able to get on the green in one on some of these par 4s. Get out of here. But like, you can't question them on it. Like,
how about morning golf? Yeah. Are you going to be doing any drinking, smoking cigars?
Absolutely not. Not tomorrow.
Is this throwing you off?
If it's on a Saturday, I would start out.
Cigars is mandatory.
Here's the thing.
Mandatory.
Here's the thing, Stricky. I say this. I save cigars for nice courses.
So selective cigars.
Selective. And I'll spend a little bit more on them as well. Cause like when I went to Fossil Trace in Golden, Colorado, it was like, 130 a round or whatever out there. Beautiful course. Highly recommend it to anybody. And but when we go to like Holmes or anywhere around, no offense, anywhere around Lincoln, we do not.
So do you have the IPAs also?
No, not tomorrow.
Just
not
the regular?
tomorrow. Not tomorrow. The
Regular
weekend.
Bud Light?
So the weekends, it's normally like a Coors Light, or it's Coors Light, or if it's a really hot day, we'll get some like seltzers or whatever. But I usually stick away. Here, Kevin told me tan limes. Have you ever had tan limes?
No, not tricky.
So tan limes is a really good golfing beer. And I highly recommend it for you. It's from Cross Train Brewery, which I believe is in Nebraska. So tan limes by Cross Train. It's a limey beer, but it's very good.
Good
very good.
Yeah, nice, refreshing. All right, before we get out of here, I did want to get to this. Lee Corso turned 87 yesterday. And of course, if you love college football, you probably love Lee Corso. If over the years you might have seen he's been allowed to say the F word and stuff on ESPN. So
the M word.
Yeah.
No, what did he say it was just a couple weeks ago. The video came out where it was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I can't say it because it breaks FCC rules, but he used the little person.
Yeah, right. Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like something about like not now.
Yeah.
and he. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So he kind of gets away with stuff that others can't get away with. But he is getting up there in age, and we've talked for years about, is there ever going to be somebody that can replace Lee Corso? Of course, he does the mascot, heads and all that to predict the game. It would just be hard. I was reading College Football Reddit, though, and somebody suggests maybe Pat McAfee. Do you guys like Pat McAfee that much to replace Lee Corso? It's a different type of entertainment.
There's no one like Lee Corso.
I don't think so.
That's tough to duplicate.
Yeah.
There's no charisma.
But at some point, he's 87.
Yeah,
he's going to move along.
Yeah.
I don't.
But that's a good question. Sorry, Heyman, text line 402-464-5685. Who can replace Lee Corso, or who's even in the atmosphere to replace him? I'd like to know.
Do you guys get Pat McAfee? I've been saying for a long time. I didn't really get him, but now I kind of like him.
He's not bad. Here's a question: do you like Big Noon Kickoff or College Game Day?
Traditionally, still College Game.
I like Game Day.
I'm starting to turn to Fox Big Noon.
Well, they'll cover more Big Ten for you.
Because so here's the thing: is I love Joel Klatt, number one.
Oh yeah,
Joel Klatt's my favorite college football analyst in the entire country. But Fox Big Noon, when they had Urban before his stint in Jacksonville,
was really good,
Urban was really good because he broke the game down X's and O's, in a way that Kirk could never, in a way Lee could never. And like they try to, but I feel like College Game Day has now turned more to the sappy, emotional stories, which necessarily isn't a bad thing. There's definitely an audience
like 3
for that.
hours.
Exactly, but it's 3 hours, so you got to find time. Where Big Noon more about football, X's and O's and things like that. But College Game Day obviously is still a staple.
I do really like David Pollock. If I get David,
I love David Pollock too.
If we get David Pollock and Joel Klatt to do a crossover, I'd watch that.
I don't know if I ever told you this. So when they came I'll hurry up. When they came to Lincoln for Ohio State in 2019, I was down there with College Game Day. David Pollock comes out of the car. First thing he says, "Where's a gym? I need to find a gym."
Oh, nice.
He's like, first thing I always do whenever I get to a new city is I have to go lift. He lifted in the campus rec. Lifted in the campus rec.
All right, thank you, Nick, for stopping in.
Appreciate
and you
it.
will be back tomorrow and throughout the week here on the Ticket Water Cooler. Strick and I will be up next with On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM